What's going on YouTube? I'm Cooper, this is the Cooper Music Page, and we have to talk. I know in my guitar basics video that you can see here that I said that I don't know why E and F and B and C don't have sharps or flats. Don't ask me why, I have no clue. And you asked me. So, I did a lot of research and I came up with a few things that I think you guys should all know in case you're wondering a little bit more about sharps and flats and why E, F, and B, C don't have them. Like I said in that first video, there are 12 notes going from A through G with various sharps and flats, depending whether you go a semitone or a whole tone apart. Now, I didn't go over this in the first video because it was just the basics, but now we're going to get a little bit more into actual notes and music theory kind of stuff. So a semitone is one of these fret spaces, right? Remember that? So a whole tone is two of those fret spaces. So a whole tone from G to A, and a semitone from G to G sharp. And that's kind of how you make up scales. And scales determine what key you're using to make your music. Now, of course, keys don't really matter. You can do music chords and progressions and whatever from any kind of key you could think of and throw in whatever you want to make it your own. There's no set way to do music. This is just the mathematical, theorized way that music comes together to make the best stuff for Western music. So in the major scale, we have a pattern that helps us determine which notes are in a key. So the G major scale, for instance, is G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And it's always that pattern for the major scale at least. Whole tone, half tone, whole tone, whole tone, half tone. So whole, half, whole, half, and that's a major scale. So you pick your key, your root note, and you do that, and that's how you get the notes and chords in that scale. You can just as easily do it down the string, whole, half, whole, half. But I was just going vertically. The guitar is a weird instrument that you'll learn more about when I do these little lessons, but there's so many different notes that are exactly the same throughout this whole thing. So this F sharp right here is the same thing as a G flat. As far as playing them and what they sound like, there is no difference whatsoever. F sharp is G flat. When it comes into telling which one is which, it really comes down to either if you're going down the scale or up the scale. So because I'm going down the major scale, this is an F sharp. E to F and B to C, there are no sharps and flats. You could say, I guess, for your own sake, that this is B sharp, but it's just a C note. Like I said, they are the exact same note, but what you call them is different. A lot of people are taught that there is no B sharp or F flat, when in reality, these are just things that we call the notes in a scale or representing on music sheets or in writing or reading music. And that's very theory-based, you know, classical music stuff that I'm not even a part of. I don't know anything about classical music. There's all these rules about all this stuff, and you can just go ahead and break them all because you're a musician and that's what we do. What I do know is that because B and C are right next to each other and you can't put another note in between there, especially on the guitar here or on a piano, they're called natural semitones. So the math formula that is created to determine what these pitches are going to be for each step is basically saying that there is no note in between these and you can't have a note in between these in modern Western music. Same thing for E and F. They are natural semitones. When you have notes that are the same, like G flat and F sharp, those are called enharmonic pairs. That's not really important, but just so you know what these things are called. So here's where music theory gets a little wacky, right? A key is, well, like I said, starting on that root note and then following that pattern, for the major scale at least, whole, half, whole, half, right? So if I follow that and I do that with C sharp, something interesting happens. When you're writing out these music, there are 7 spaces for lines on music sheets where you can go A through G, right? And then you write your sharps and flats or whatever have you, you know, before the note on the music sheet, and that's how you get your scale on a sheet of music. Well, every note has to be represented. So let's take our root note on the C sharp right here, right? and we go down the scale in that whole, half, and get the C sharp major scale. Something interesting happens. So because every letter needs to be represented on those lines, you get sharps that you wouldn't necessarily get in traditional music, just because they need to be represented and they're already represented other places, so you can't have just an E or an F. There's going to be an E sharp and an F sharp, or a B sharp and a C sharp, right? So you have C sharp, D sharp, E sharp. I know, it's weird. F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, and C sharp again. So because C's already represented, you have to represent the B, so it becomes a B sharp. And because F sharp is going to be represented right here, this is an E sharp. So it's weird, but there is instances in music theory where you do have E sharps and B sharps, even though they are just called C and F. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh, hold on. I can't talk with this thing on. I hope you enjoyed this video. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to check out all my other products, you can go to CooperMusicSwag.com. You can use promo code Cooper10 for 10% off at checkout. If you liked the video, go ahead and subscribe. I put out new videos every Monday. And if you want to check out another video from me, go ahead and click right down here.